What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and in this video I'd like to discuss the price action of Bitcoin and consequently the rest of crypto as well in regards to what happens around this FOMC meeting, the Federal Reserve announcement that's going to take place in about 4.5 hours here. It is the 17th of September, and I want to go over my expectations of what I think is going to happen. But before we do that, I want to just go through and analyze every FOMC meeting that's happened this year and see what the consequence or the price action thereafter was. So if that sounds good to you, hit the like button, subscribe, and let's get into it, okay? You can see here that we've had a meeting on the 28th of January, 18th of March, May, June, July. We didn't have one in August. They did some kind of meeting together there, but no FOMC meeting. Anyways, we're doing that here, 16th, 17th now. Today is the 17th. Every single one of these press conferences, which we have one today coming on, happened at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Today, however, our press conference happens at 2:30. The Federal Reserve announced that last night. They're going to push it back to 2:30, just 30 minutes later, for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't know what the purpose of that is, but I've got all these Bitcoin charts pulled up here. They're all set to these different meeting dates, and we're going to look at what happened on the price action. You'll be surprised to find, or at least I was surprised to find, that the exact opposite of what I've been saying is going to happen is what happened, right? I've been calling for the price to move up into the meetings and then move down out of the meetings. That was my expectation, right? And maybe that'll provide true. That'll provide, or that'll be a valid thing. I don't know how to talk right now, apparently. We are doing something different this FOMC meeting than we have any other FOMC meeting this year, and that is cutting rates, where every other meeting before we've just kept rates the same, right? So that could imply a different reaction, but we'll see, all right? Every FOMC meeting right here happened on this hour. We're on the hourly time frame, so it happened on this hour. You can see with this line right here, we were at a low point. We were kind of stagnant throughout the day, low point moving down, and then what happened afterwards? We moved up. Inevitably, we did drop lower. Inevitably, we did, and perhaps that's what's to come, but that doesn't mean that that's what happens. I'm just thinking, after the FOMC meeting, we did surge higher. We did from the 18th here, 18th hour of the day, because that's 17th hour, before daylight savings time, before we sprung forward. Instead of it being the 18th hour, it was the 17th hour in January there. So we continued to move up until, really until the next day, where we topped off at the 15th hour. For a whole day, we just basically moved up. We look at the next one, which is in March here, right here on the 18th hour. And I don't know if daylight savings applied here or not, but whether it's 18th or 17th, you can see, I mean, we're right at the low point, and then we moved up. We surged very hard for the remainder of that day. And then we continued to correct down a little bit, right? But we didn't go too much lower than where we were by the announcement of the FOMC meeting, right? By that press conference. So we really didn't drop off that much. We actually went up higher afterwards, right? We go to the one that happened in May. And again, this time we definitely had daylight savings in effect. Or we sprung forward, whatever it is. Maybe they went away. Daylight savings went away. And then in September, daylight savings comes back. Is that how it is? It's all confusing. They should just get rid of daylight savings. I think if we put it to a vote, that's the one thing that everybody would agree on, right? Even farmers. I think everybody's okay with it, right? Whatever. They'll just wake up earlier. Whatever. They don't care. I know farmers, man. I live in a ranch community. They really don't care. They think it's annoying too. Anyways, looking at this here, maybe not all of them. Some of them appreciate it, but anyways, getting off on a different topic there. Low point, right? That we're right at that low point there on the 18th hour, right there. Right at the low point. Then we surged higher and we continued to grow. Now again, these all happened right here. 18th hour here, and you surged higher afterwards. The next day. This is on the 19th. The next day, during the 8th hour, like in the beginning of the day, you're at your high. You did surge higher from your low. You didn't really move higher. This was kind of stagnant in all fairness, but then we did move higher and inevitably went lower. Inevitably, we did go lower. But these all happened, right? Surging higher and then lower right after the FOMC announcement. And it'd be completely fair. Some of these, if you didn't notice, they did wick a little bit lower first. Right here on the 18th. That one, you did wick a little bit lower on that next candle. Here, the 18th hour was here, and you did wick a little bit lower on that next candle. They're not all just immediately going to move up that very next hour, but they do essentially have a surge right in that right in that time frame, right? Like right there, like basically right afterwards. Now, we look at the current day, okay, where we are here, what are we doing? We're dropping into it. The FOMC meeting happens at 2:30 today, so that'll be the 18th hour, but 18 and a half. We'll probably drop going into it. We might even drop a little bit afterwards, see some volatility, but then continue to rally going into the end of the day and probably even into tomorrow. We should be at prices that are above 117K. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, by the end of tomorrow. Now, I will take the charts away and I will talk about the my thoughts here as far as what's going on. So every FOMC meeting that's happened so far this year, we haven't announced rate cuts. We haven't had rate hikes. It's just been kept it the same, right? We've kept it level. No adjustments have been made. This will be the first time an adjustment's been made. So is it a fair thought to say that we might see a different reaction? Maybe instead of the price going up, maybe the price will go down. Maybe. But we're moving down into the announcement, which every time that we've moved down into the announcement, we have moved up out of the announcement, right? So there's that too. Rate cuts are typically perceived to be a positive thing. Some people think it's a negative thing, and I don't have my chart pulled up here, but we've done it so many times where we've shown that there have been rate hikes, there have been rate cuts where the market explodes, it goes higher while the Federal Reserve is cutting rates or hiking rates. So it really doesn't matter what's happening, whether it's cutting or hiking. We've seen rate hikes and rate cuts where the market crashes, where things go down. So it really doesn't matter what happens. That the idea of cuts meaning we go down or hikes meaning we go up or vice versa is a farce. It's a fallacy, because the reality of what happens anytime that these rate adjustment announcements happen is that when they're drastic, whenever they move at a very fast pace, whenever we see the rate cuts go from like 25 basis points to 125 basis points or 400 basis points, we fall off a cliff, or we hike them to the same degree, that's when the market panics. Because a sharp adjustment like that, a very large adjustment like that, think about it logically. Just think about what it means. Why would the Fed adjust slowly? It's because there's no pressure. There's no pressure. They've got time on their side. Time is on our side. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Right? That song. You know that song. If you don't, you better look it up. It's a good one. It's very righteous. If you know that song, then you get the pun there. If not, you'll figure it out. Or maybe you won't. But I'm just saying, time's on our side. That's what it means when we're cutting rates or adjusting rates at a slow pace, at very nominal amounts, not these large drastic changes. What does it mean? Think about it logically. Whenever the rates are adjusting at a very drastic pace, we're hiking rates dramatically or cutting rates dramatically, that means something's going on in the economy, and the Fed needs to act to help mitigate the damage. There's going to be damage, right? They're only making those adjustments because they have to act to mitigate the damage that's coming in the long term. And the markets see that and they react poorly. So it doesn't matter if there's positive or negative adjustments with the rates. It matters how dramatic they are. I'm going to wrap the video up with this thought for you. If you've been paying attention to X.com, if you've been following your favorite influencers and you've been seeing that everybody's saying, today, tomorrow, what's your bet? Are they going to cut it by 300 basis points, 400 basis points? They haven't cut since last November. We got to be getting a big cut this month. It's going to happen. It's going to be a big cut. If you're expecting there to be a large cut, and if you're expecting that to be a good thing, first off, no. And secondly, it's not going to be a large cut. The Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell specifically, and most of the time the chair of the Federal Reserve, they're very transparent, okay? If you guys don't remember, back in May, Jerome Powell said that they were looking to cut rates in September. I thought I was bullish on them cutting rates every month up until then, right? May, once they made that announcement, I'm like, okay, so they're not cutting rates, they're not adjusting rates at all until September. That's why I haven't thought that they were going to adjust rates since then, right? But now we're fully expecting that they're going to cut rates. And the thing is, Jerome Powell told us that in May. He said we're looking to cut rates in September. It might be as late as September. That's literally what he said. And he hasn't changed that. Every time they've talked about September being the month. Okay, this wasn't something that we figured out in Jackson Hole. We like if you pay attention, they're very transparent. Actually, they tell you what's going to happen. What else have they told you is going to happen? They've told you that they're going to probably look to cut by 25 basis points. It's not going to be a dramatic thing. Maybe 50 basis points at the most. So if you're thinking that the rate cuts that we're going to experience are any more than 50 basis points, I really don't think we're going to cut more. I bet we're going to get a 25 basis point thing. And again, the whole reason for that is they've got time on their side. The market, the economy is healthy. They don't need to make dramatic adjustments. Why do that? And they know as well as I do. If I know this, and I don't have a college education, if I know this, and not that anyone without a college education is lower educated. I'm just making fun of myself at this point. I'm just saying, if I know this, then certainly these guys who it's their job to know this, that when the rate cuts happen at a slow pace, at a low and slow pace, the market reacts in a beneficial way, in a positive way. Where if it happens at a very fast pace, not so much. And yes, it's been a year, but even though it's been a year, they cut by 25 basis points. That's still slow. They also have said, they've also said over the months that they're planning on doing more rate cuts later this year. So this will be the first of more to come, right? There will be another rate cut in November. I think the next FOMC is in November, right? Or maybe at the end of October. I forget. And actually, we can look at that here. Let me see real quick. What is it? It's in October 28th, October 29th. So that's all I got. I don't really have anything else to say. I just want to tell you guys that I think I was wrong. I don't think that we're going to dump out of the announcement. Maybe we do, because again, the one thing there is that we are getting rate cuts where before we've had no adjustments. So that's the one difference. But every other time that we've seen the price moving down into these announcements, we have moved out, and we are moving down into the announcement now. So I think that we will, if I'm just being fair. I think that my call on Bitcoin was wrong. I don't think that we're going to dump after the announcement. I think we are going to pump. For all of you who are watching this video right now, just so you understand, we're probably going to pump. We're probably going to see prices that are above $118,000 within the next 24 hours. Maybe we pump all the way up to 120K just nonstop. I don't know. We've got targets at 120.5K, 122K, and if Bitcoin reacts positively on the rate cuts, people are going to be going crazy. They're going to be like, oh my God. The rate cuts happen. The market's receiving this positively. Printer go, brrr, you know, all those memes are going to come out. People are going to be very bullish. And that doesn't mean that we're just going to be on a nonstop bullet train higher. We've seen it where we surge higher at first, and then we still see lower lows, or we come back down to where we were before the announcement happens. So don't get too disappointed if there's some volatility that happens between now and the next couple of days. But just to make a firm stance on what my thoughts are here, I think we are going to pump going out of the announcement. I think that's what's going to happen. And if not, and we dump, you guys know where those target areas are. You know where we're going to find support, right? If not, watch my Bitcoin video. You'll figure it out. I got nothing else for you. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. And good luck, everybody. I think it's going to be a good time over the next couple days going into the end of this month. I think it's going to be a good time. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.